Hello and welcome. Oh my god, my hair is getting a little bit too long. Let's sort that out. There we go, much better. Hello and welcome to part 16 of my tutorial series showing you how to make your own cartoon from start to finish with Toon Boom Harmony Premium. In the previous videos we've been building this character rig, so feel free to go check out those videos first. In the last video, we tested the rig by putting him in various poses, which then allowed us to make adjustments and fixes. In this video, however, we are going to be making master controllers, which will speed up the animation process by allowing us to control many parameters at once, which, for example, are useful for controlling both pupils at once, the angle of the head or facial expressions, so that we don't have to manually adjust everything in the correct position every time we want to achieve a particular pose, and instead just have them saved by the master controllers. Master controllers tend to be rather daunting to some people, but they're actually relatively straightforward to set up, and that's what I will be showing you today. Before we begin though, I do just want to make a few announcements, so feel free to skip this section if you just want to get started with the tutorial. Firstly, because this is the final video in the rigging phase of this tutorial series, this Sunny rig is now available for you to download and use, so feel free to have a play about, to nose around in the node view, or even use it for your animation showreel, and the link for that is in the description below. My second announcement is that I now have a Ko-fi page. Ko-fi, if you didn't know, is a support platform similar to Patreon where you can send tips to creators. I provide all of this content for free on my YouTube channel, so if you feel like I have helped you in some way and I deserve it, the option for you to support me that way is there. I've also set up a membership service which will allow you to unlock special perks, such as having your name appear in my videos, and some other things that I'll be figuring out before this video is released. I also have my shop on there where I sell things like stickers, and I'll be updating that with more products in the future, so you can support me that way too. Link for that in the description below. And lastly, I am offering a one-on-one training service for rigging and animation in Toon Boom Harmony, so if you think you would benefit from that, you can send me an email with the subject title training. Again, link in the description below. Okay, let's get on with the video. Okay, so since we last saw the Sunny rig, I've made a couple of changes. The first change being this ball at the top. So if we go into the node view, you can see I've added this glow here, and if we render it out, you can see that it's got this effect on it. So the effect doesn't show when you have render mode off. So I got that glow there just by pressing enter, searching glow, and then placing it above the antenna ball there. And then you can go in the settings, and I've set it as a radius of 4. I've set it to white and an intensity of 2. The next change I made was to this mask. So if we go to a side view and we go into the drawing, you can see that I've just changed that shape there so it's rounded on the edges, so that this line is more rounded and it doesn't just cut off. I put these shoulder controllers in, so it allows you to just turn the shoulders on and off and be able to select them a bit easier as well. I've put the hands in, so all of these hands for the appropriate angles are all here, and we'll probably have to add more as we start animating. If we go into the node view, I've actually added a arms head peg as well, and that allows us to control the head and the neck and the arms at the same time, which might be useful for certain poses when we start animating. And I've just made a few changes to the interface as well, so I've changed some of these tabs around, and also I moved the tools down to the bottom of the camera view, which you can do by clicking and dragging that bar there. So now we can start doing master controllers. So the first type of master controller we're going to do is something called a slider wizard, which is this button down here. And if you don't have this button, you can right click that and then you just click on master controller. Got it selected there. So we've got all our turnaround angles here. So we're just going to go down to the main composite here, and I'm going to make another composite by pressing Ctrl H. And then I will put that at the front and I'll place it over here. I'll call that MC's comp. and that's what all of our master controllers are going to plug into. So the way we make the master controller is make sure you've got the relevant pegs selected. So in this case, it would be the master peg because we're going to do the slider for the whole turnarounds, which is on the master peg level. So we're going to click the first frame, we're going to hold shift, and we're going to go to frame 10. We then want to click this button here, the slider wizard, and that will bring up this. So the source frame range, we've got it 1 to 10. We want the horizontal layout, so that means the slider will be horizontal and not vertical. And we're going to click interpolate between poses off because we just want these angles here. And we're going to call it TA, the turnaround, and then we're going to click create, and then it's asking you to choose the composite that you want it to be attached to. So we just made that composite, so we're going to go down and select MC's comp, press OK, and then this is the scripts folder. This is where our Sunny rig lives. You don't need to know anything about scripts, just know that it's going to make a script here in the scripts folder. So you can see it's named TA, so we can save that, and there we go, we've made our master controller. So I'm gonna close that now because it's already been made, and there's our controller there. And if you put a peg on it as well, you can place that next to the character. We're also going to make another peg, and we're going to place it at the top. So this will be the peg that will be controlling all of the master controllers. We can also make a backdrop for it as well and call it MCs, and we'll just make that pink. So this is where all our master controllers are going to go. So now when I move this, you can see that it controls the turnaround, but you do have to be careful because we're on the back angle at the moment. So if I change it to the front angle and then I forget about it and do a bunch of animation, that means that that angle is going to be lost. So if you do want to play around with it, just do it on a later frame where you're not interfering with these pegs here. And also a keyframe will appear on the master controller, but that's just a keyframe for the master controller itself. It's not related to the animation information of the main rig. So we've got our full body turnaround slider there, and the next one we're going to make is just for the head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select our head peg here, press B, so we're on the full head peg there, and I'm going to press O to go down to the headmaster, and we're just going to take all of these keyframes here, and I'm just going to leave 3 gaps, and then I'm going to paste those keyframes there. So now you can see you've just got the head angles there. So with this head, you will notice that it turns around and then it just goes back the same way. And that's because the flip information is on the full turnaround, but it's not on our head pegs. So something that we need to do is we need to flip these. There we go, they're all flipped. And we're just going to do the same thing. So we're going to highlight all of those pegs on the headmaster level. And again, we're just going to go to the slider wizard, horizontal layout. These are our frames that it's on. And we're just going to call this TA head. Press create, go down to the MC's comp and press OK. Press save on the script. And there we go, it's done. Now, because we are on frame 14 here, let's go and find our master controllers here. We'll put that next to the MC TA. Then we'll connect that to the master MC's peg. So if you move that now and put it over there, remember we're on this frame. So that's going to record the animation information. So it's gonna change positions. So press Control Z for that. And what you can do, you just go on animate off. So you don't have to go back to the first frame. And then you can just move that, and that will move it for all of the frames. So now when we turn this, you can see that the head turns. So if we collapse this Sunny Master, all of these keyframes are white because only the head pegs have been keyframed. So all of these frames that we're using for the master controllers, they're going to be separate to the main turnaround angles. So you can see I've put the head there. We're going to do the mouth next. So I'm going to just take the front angle, then I'm going to do 3 keyframes, and I'm just going to start it here. I just do 3 just because it's a nice separation and it just makes it more clear for me. So we've got our front angle there, and we're just going to go through all the different mouth shapes now and put them on their own frames. So this is the closed one. And if we click on the mouth, we've got all our different mouths here. So we're going to do M there, and then we'll go to the next frame and we'll do E. And then we'll go to the next frame and we'll do A. We're going to do the smaller mouth there, I think. I'm going to do the O there. That's going to be the U. And then we'll do the L, the F, which is this one, the TH, and then finally the X. And I'm going to keyframe that. And I'm just going to keyframe all of these just again to keep it organized so it's in one block, if you will. And make sure when you're doing this, it didn't really matter for the shapes there, but you should have animate mode on. I forgot to do that. So we've got all our mouths there. Obviously, if you have more mouths, you can add those. You might have bespoke expression mouths. You can add those as well at the end if you want. So this is where we are going to find the mouth peg. So we're going to select the mouth master. Again, we're going to go down to the mouth and find it there. We'll make sure that is collapsed. And again, just going to do the slider. We're going to call this mouth, create, MC comp, and then we'll press OK. Find our mouth master controller there, and we'll put the mouth peg there. Animate mode off, and we'll just place that underneath the head. Turn animation mode back on. So now you can see that the mouths change. But what about the other angles? So let's say we've got the quarter angle. Will that change the mouths correctly for that angle? Well, if we paste a keyframe here and we do the mouths, you can see that it still controls the mouths correctly. And that is because of magic. So let's delete that. So we've got our mouths. And next we're going to do the pupils. So this time, this is a new type of controller. And this one is called the Grid Wizard. So again, 3 spaces, I'll keyframe that. So let's just do the front angle for this one. So I'll paste that there. And then we can start doing these pupils. So for the pupils, we're going to select both of these eyes. We're going to press O again, come down to those. So yeah, this is on the eye and brows peg. And we're just using that peg because that's the first peg which is linked to both of the pupils at the same time. So we'll leave the first peg as the middle position. And then we're just going to go through each of these keyframes and position these pupils where we want. So we're going to press F6 to keyframe there. And we're just going to move the pupil to the side. And then we'll do the down position, and we're just going to keep on going around. Actually, I do want to do the quarter positions. This is at the bottom, and I'll just keep going until we have come full circle. So the last one would be this quarter position here. So there we go, we've got all our keyframes in now, so you can see all the positions of the eyes. So now what we're going to do, we're going to highlight those keyframes, and instead of the slider wizard, we're going to go to Grid Wizard. So we'll click that, and then you'll be presented with this window, and then you will be asked to choose a type of grid. So I'm going to choose 3x3, and that's because these are all the positions for the pupils. So you've got the pupil in the middle, and then you've got the pupil going around the edge. So press OK on that. And then you just want to assign the keyframes to each of these red dots. So these are red because they have unassigned keyframes at the minute. We're going to call this pupils. We're going to start in the middle. And the middle one was on the first one, which is frame 40 by here. And you can tell that because it tells you what frame by here. So we're going to press OK. And then we're just going to go along and select each keyframe like this. So this is frame 42, frame 43, frame 44, 45, and you've guessed it, 48. Skaboosh. And then we can press create, stick it on the MC's comp, press OK, press save on the scripts, close the windy, and then just like we did with the sliders, attach it to the master, turn animate mode off, and then we can put it up here, and then we'll just place it up there. And you can also make that bigger as well, or smaller if you want. So when you first click on it, this box will always be over here instead of over there. I'm not quite sure why, but yeah, you can scale that up and down as well. And if we go over here, you can see now we can control both of the pupils at the same time. And even if we change the eyebrows, it will still work fine. And that also goes for all the different angles as well. Something else you can do as well is if you can add another camera over here, and sometimes when you're animating, you don't necessarily want to go back and forth to the master controllers. So what you can do is just have another window here and then do all your animation. You can have this off to the side, and that way all of your master controllers will still be there. So another good idea as well is to use the master controller grid wizard for head rotations as well. So we've got the ones for the head turnaround, but if you want your character looking up and down as well, you can add those in. Let's just do a few examples here. So we're going to go down to the head peg again. So just for this example, I'm going to do the side heads and I'll just do the front heads. So let's take this head and we'll put it there, and let's take this head and we'll put it there, and I'm going to copy and paste those frames there. So we've got 3 sides, then I'm going to copy and paste those frames so that we've got 3 fronts, and then we will have a down angle, a normal angle, and a looking up angle. Put that pupil up there, and then we put that pupil down, and then for the front we will start with a down again. So we can grab this whole face, we can just move it down a little bit. We will give it a squeeze ever so slightly, and we'll bring those eyebrows down as well. You could even bring those lids down as well. When people are looking down, their lids do go over their eyes, and then we can put the pupils down there. We're going to change the head shape a little bit as well, because that would change. So let's just bring that down, and then we can take this and bring that down as well. In fact, we shall bring that all in front of the antenna, move that down, and then we'll do the up one. So we'll take that face and again squeeze it down slightly, move it up a bit, and then again we move that down. That will be behind the head, and we can deform that a little bit as well, like that. And then you maybe move the eyebrows up a little bit and have the pupils looking up. So there we go. We've got 3 sides and we've got 3 front. And obviously if you were doing the whole set, you would include the quarter front, quarter back, etc. But we're just doing these for example's sake. And then we're going to copy and paste those. Actually, what I'm going to do is copy and paste those there and then put the sides there. And yeah, flip all those so that they're the opposite. Now, the reason we've got 2 front angles is because we've got a front flipped and a front normal. But it's always good to have both of those options, because when you are doing like a full body turn or a full head turn, it's always nice to have both of the options of the front views. So you have the option to tween it from both front head positions. So if you've got a front head and then it goes to a flipped side head, that head's going to flip like that. So it's always nice to have that flipped front head to start with. So now that we've got that, we're going to go to the headmaster, and actually for that front head up, I'm going to take it behind the neck so that we can see the end of the neck there. I'll do the same with that one. So again, we're going to highlight those frames, grid wizard, and just for this instance, it's not going to be as many keyframes as you normally would, because we're not doing all the angles. So it would be just 3 for the side, which would be down, mid, and up. Then we're going to have 3 for the front normal. We're going to have 3 for the flipped normal. And then we're going to have 3 for the side, the other side. So that would be 4 by 3. So let's do new. We're going to do 4 like that. And we are going to interpolate this because we want all of those angles in between as well. So we've got these angles now, and this one is going to be frame 50. This one's going to be frame 51. And you can select these while this window is open. This is going to be frame 52. And then we're going to the front. So 53, 64, 55, and 61. Okay, so we've got all our keyframes assigned to the different positions, and you can move the positions of these as well. So if I take this is 0 in the middle. So what we want to do is we want these two front angles to be as close as possible together, and I'll show you why in a minute. So just click any one of these frames and just move that over, and then we can move these over as well so that it's more of a square shape. Okay, so that's all ready, and we're going to call this head angles. Press create again, MC's comp, save, and then we will go to the node view. Our head angles are here. Turn animation off. Let's just move it under the pupils. So there we go. I'm just going to F16 this just to make it nice and neat. And then let's go on a unused keyframe over here. And then we've got the different angles there. So if things aren't translating as well as you would like with the interpolations, there's nothing wrong with adding more angles here just to make that turn look a little bit smoother if you've got a more complex head shape and you've got things, popping backwards and forwards. But I would say, use this grid wizard as more of an aid to get you into your desired pose rather than heavily relying on it for animation. You'll notice that it does do a flip here, and it's going to do that because Toon Boom can't magically make everything move over to the other side because you're using flipped keyframes. If you don't want that to happen, the only way of fixing that is to make a turnaround without any flips, so it would be more work. So if you did want to do a head turn, you would just want to make sure that it doesn't tween the front angles. You would just use stop motion keyframes to get that fixed. However, I am going to go into more information in the next few videos regarding basic animation and head turns, so that will become more clear in the future. So the last controller we're going to do is we're going to go back to the slider wizard, and this time we're going to do a vertical slider. So I've just copy and pasted one of the front master pegs, and I pasted it 5 times here. And this is going to be for the blinks. And I'll also share a little bit of information about how blinks are animated in general, and tends to come more towards the end of the animation process. So we've got our frames here, and it's going to start on an open eye shape. We haven't got the eye shape substitutions for the blinks, so we're going to have to make them. I've pressed Alt-Shift-D to duplicate the open shape, and we've got that here. So if we come into the drawing, there's going to be a total of 4 frames for the blinks. So it's going to be open, and then we're going to have a mostly closed shape. We're going to have a completely closed shape. We're going to have a mostly open shape, and then it's going to go back to the open shape here. So we're going to delete these points, and then we're going to take these and we're just going to bring this down, and then we'll have to redo the color, so we'll delete those. We're going to click the create color art from line art button, and then we'll fill that in. So now we've got our open and mostly closed. We're going to go to this keyframe now, and we're going to select the mostly closed, and we are just going to press Alt-Shift-D to duplicate that, and then we'll go back into the drawing. And this time we're going to bring that down slightly. We're going to get rid of these lines at the bottom, and we can just give that a bit more of a rounded shape there as well. So that's a closed eye, and then we can get rid of the color completely there. Let's go over to the next keyframe. We're going to delete this middle one, and we can bring those points down a little bit. Update our color so we can delete that, and do the same things we did before. And then this one is going to be the open one again. Actually, I'm just going to adjust that third shape there. So I'm going to copy this, get rid of that, and paste it into here. And then I'm just going to get rid of this line. So there you go, you got all those eye shapes there. And also we'll need to do the same with the other eye. So we're just going to go through and match those. So now they're all synced up. And we're going to do the eyebrows as well. So it's more than just a case of having the eyes open and close for a blink. It looks better when you have it across these frames and include the eyebrows as well. And this is generally what they would do for cartoon studio productions as well. So we're gonna bring those eyebrows down, and actually let's go over to the eyebrows peg, which has both of them on it, and we can copy and paste that. And I like to turn on my onion skin. And then for this one, we're just gonna move these down just a bit, not too far. And then we can go to the mostly open shape and we can move those down just a bit as well. So now the blink is like that. Going to select the master peg for the eyes and brows because that's everything that's included. Press O to go down to it, make sure it's collapsed, highlight all of these, and then we'll do the slider. And we're going to take this horizontal layout off because we want it to be vertical instead of horizontal, because it just kind of is more suitable for a blink because they're going up and down. So we can call this blink, find our MC comp, okay, save the script, turn off animation mode, go into the node view, slap a peg on that bad boy, attach it to the master MCs, and then I'll just increase that a little bit as well. And then we can move it over here next to our other sliders. And this is a little bit messy. You can organize it to make it look a little bit neater. You could put a frame around it. You could put some art on there as well, so it's more easily selectable. Maybe you want to do some symbols to represent different sliders. So if we go over to an unused frame here, got our blinks. Fabulous! Something else I want to quickly mention as well is this master controllers window. So when you make this and you close the file and then you come back into it, these master controllers aren't going to appear. And you might think to yourself, where the f***ing have they gone? Well, don't worry. You just want to come into this master controllers window, and if you don't have it, which you probably won't by default, just click this plus and the master controller is there. And then when you've got your character selected, this is where all the master controllers live. So you'll just want to highlight all of these. And if they're not there, try clicking this refresh button, but click all of these, click this orange button, and that will make them appear and disappear. I'll refresh that, and then it brings the blink. So that's what you would do when you first open the file. And that's master controllers, guys. So thank you so much for joining me. Like I said in the beginning of the video, this marks the end of the rigging phase. So if you have made it this far, thank you for watching. Congratulations. The next few set of videos, we're going to be talking about animation. So I'll see you folks next time. And remember, goodbye. Thank you so much for watching. If you do have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments section below, or you can ask me live over on Twitch, where I stream this stuff 5 days a week. If you enjoyed the video and you found it helpful, please feel free to like and subscribe. Your support really does go a long way. And if you want to be notified of any future videos, you can click that notification bell. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!